So it took nearly a full calendar year for this box to finally get sent to me. But what's inside is likely one of the last PSA submissions any YouTuber is ever going to show you that is going to be representative of a pre-Logan Paul and pre-2020 Pokemon trading card hobby. So, what's inside? Well, in today's video, we'll do a little bit of an unboxing of this 28-pound box from PSA, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But before we do, let's get started and roll that intro. Hey Gengar Gang, what is going on? My name is Ryan, this is the Analytic Gengar, and welcome to another video. In today's video, friends, we talk about my PSA graded card collection. As you can see, it is just precariously perched on this table, and this is the top-down view I got going right now. But as you can see, the box is gigantic. It's literally the size of my table. It is 28 pounds. It took nearly a year to get here, and I'm so excited to share with you some very high-level summary information about this PSA graded return today. Obviously, on this channel, one of the things I love to do is PSA graded returns, so we will painstakingly go over each one of these trading cards that has been graded in future videos. Today, I figure let's just open up the box and get some high-level information available. So, if anyone's curious about the history behind this PSA graded submission, I submitted a total of 287 cards. These 287 cards were sent off in October of 2020. And in case anyone's curious, I actually showed you most of, if not all of these cards in a submission video. So you can actually go back and check that submission in order to see some of the cards that were submitted. More importantly, that was about a year ago now, shockingly enough. I sent these cards and they were received by PSA October 4th, 2020. This was after PSA opened back up, launched a monthly special, and nearly got crushed with the sheer volume of stuff that was submitted to them. So that is how long it took for this box to get back to me. Now, in case anybody is actually curious about the story behind this, it wasn't actually logged in PSA's system until December of 2020. And so this order was completed in early October 2021, meaning if you're measuring it purely from the time once it was received in the system, we're talking about 10 to 11 months. If you're talking about since when I mailed this thing off and it arrived at PSA's PO box, we're talking over a calendar year to get these cards back. All of these cards were submitted under the September special for monthly trading cards at $9 a piece. And fun fact, I was hit with nearly $1,000 in upcharges. Now, I'm going to cover that in its own separate video because I'm not going near that with a 10-foot pole right now anyway. But in today's video, primary focus is on showing you some of the stuff in here. And of course, hey, if you like what you see in today's video, definitely feel free to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. It helps me in the algorithm, and it definitely helps grow our happy little community here. We call it the Gengar Gang. So with all that said, let's dig into this. Okay, all right, I got it. All right, there you go, boom, haha. That took a lot more wrestling than I thought it would. Anyways, let's flip this thing over. I'm sure that's going to be really good for the condition of the cards in this thing. All right, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That doesn't make sense. 10. Plus, on the top side of this thing, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is a total of 15 individual boxes. Each of these boxes from PSA holds a grand total of 20 cards. I have 287 in here. So what I know for a fact is that one of these doesn't have the full 20. It has 7 cards in it plus some filler. Probably has all my work paper in it as well. Now, some fun facts about what you're seeing on screen. The 287 cards are all Pokemon cards. Again, I have everything from a Shadowless Blastoise to a Gold Star Charizard to reverse foil Pokemon cards from the Legendary Collection set. So there's a solid variety in here. On top of that, I also threw in some pet project cards, including but not limited to some prime cards that I wanted to get graded. So there's really good variety within this submission. One of the reasons why I said that this is probably one of the last PSA submissions of its kind is because there was a time when you could buy large lots of trading cards from various collectors. And what you would do is you would effectively just submit them under one of those, various low tier submission sets. So, $9 a card, 200, 300 cards, you'd probably pay a lot of money. But one of the interesting things is that you would be able to probably really create some value for yourself in terms of, turning raw cards into graded slabs that could either be sold or traded for very high value. In the past, this was a really fun and enjoyable aspect in the hobby that, I think a lot of people didn't quite understand for one reason or the other. However, given the way that trading companies have recently started treating their prices, and the way that collectors have now come to realize that they should monetize their holdings primarily by, submitting cards themselves or pricing cards to be grade worthy, meaning, if it's a PSA 10 or they think it will be a PSA 10, they almost charge the price of a PSA 10 for the raw card. There is probably a good chance that you will begin to see less and less of these types of submissions come in, these large, bulky numbers that, really just include a little bit of everything. Instead, what you see is nowadays a lot of collectors are focusing in on grading just the bare necessities, especially because prices are so high. So it's one of those things where I think for a little bit of time, we may not see submissions like this return to the hobby for quite a while. And again, that's just primarily driven by the insane amount of money that has flown into the hobby, as well as a whole bunch of other factors that have caused things to come up. Now, of course, it wouldn't be a mail day video unless I showed you what was inside one of these things. So I'm just gonna slice into one of these. And a couple of things. So here's a box from PSA. For fans of the channel, you'll know that this looks quite different than what PSA has sent back in the past. Normally, they have a number, so they'll number it. There's 15 boxes here. They'll say like 1 out of 15, 2 out of 15, 3 out of 15. So kind of upsetting that they didn't do that. I'm gonna have to go through each of these and I guess figure it out as I go. The other thing to note is that they used to have a lot more branding on these things. So they'd be like PSA and StockX or whatever. They got clowned for it in the hobby, so I'm guessing that's part of the reason why they chose not to do that. And then here is just a random sneak peek of some of the cards you can expect. Mind you, I have no clue which one this is, so I'm hoping there is at least something good in here that I can show you all. Okay, and it looks like I grabbed Legendary Collections. So here are some of the cards within the particular submission. So here is a Tentacruel from Legendary Collections, a really beautiful card. We'll go through the first three, I guess. Here's an Abra, another beautiful card. And finally, but not least, here is a Bulbasaur, a PSA 7, and a really, really pretty card, albeit a little off-centered. So that is a little sneak peek of what you should be expecting in the coming weeks. I am a huge fan of PSA graded returns, but unfortunately, they are very expensive to do nowadays. So, I have to really kind of ration off how quickly we go through these, because genuinely, I don't want to end up in a situation where I have no PSA graded returns for the foreseen future, because, we got through these too quickly. So you'll probably see one PSA graded return about every 2 weeks. I think this way, the channel has a constant stream of PSA graded returns for like the next 30 weeks. And then this way, hopefully by then things get a little bit better and we can be in a little bit better of a situation. I'm gonna pick one more and try to show us what's in here and try to avoid slicing a finger off at the same time. So here is another box super quickly. Let's see what is in this one. Oh, and this, okay, I found the one that has paperwork in it, so that's nice. I thought it would be the one that has 7 in it, but apparently not. Okay, and ooh, okay, so here's Here's the very end, so you're not going to see these again for a hot minute. Here is an Umbreon from Undaunted. I'm going to slice through because I know I have multiples of each. There's a Rayquaza and Deoxys Legendary. There is a Hidden Fates Elite Trainer Box promo. And finally but not least, there is a Umbreon, an Espeon Undaunted promo. So again, a really nice mixed collection. You have everything from WotC all the way through Gen 4, and then even some like modern day stuff, which I think is pretty neat. So that'll be nice to kind of see it all come through and come to fruition. Of course, it looks like I have my work cut out for me because I'm definitely going to have to go through half of this stuff and figure out what order it's in, but that's fine. A little bit of fun facts about what you're seeing on screen just to move to wrap up the video. This PSA graded return is, at least based on my best estimates, worth something in the range of $46,000. And I know that sounds crazy, but bear in mind, there's 287 cards here. And of those 287 cards, the majority of them are in fact WotC era cards. I do have a total of 37 PSA 10s that came back in this submission. That's a total of 12.89%. And those PSA 10s alone, just as a little bit of perspective, are worth approximately $14,000. Bear in mind, these are not me using quote-unquote YouTuber numbers. These are me using eBay last sold numbers, primarily driven by the PSA website. And so everything that I'm giving you today as a high-level summary of this overview is actually based on actual sales data and not me guesstimating because, you know, sales could not be found. So the PSA 10s alone, there are 37 of them. That's about 12.89% of the total cards submitted. And it's about $14,000 in PSA 10s. One of the reasons why I think this PSA submission is so special is because it went in before Logan Paul entered the hobby on the Big Up, and it came back after. So we're realistically seeing one of the truest reflections of how much and how insanely high the Pokemon values in the hobby went up over the past year, because this PSA submission has been gone literally that entire time. So this is almost like a time capsule, because I'll be very frank when I say I think I paid like $3,000 for all of the WotC era cards that you're going to see throughout the next couple of months. The funniest part of all is that when aggregating price data, I also went and looked at some additional price data, effectively just picking a high price from anywhere in early 2021 and late 2020. So basically anywhere from October of 2020 all the way through the summer of 2021. And what I found is that if I only looked at the high prices for these 287 cards, it wasn't $46,000, it was $66,185.04. That means on aggregate, if I'm comparing the high prices versus the most recent prices, we've seen about a 30% decline, meaning the most recent prices are only reflective of about 70.26% of the total high value that these cards had at the peak of Pokemon. So that's a 30% decline, but just bear in mind that my last PSA submission was 302 cards, primarily WotC era. And the funniest part of all is that it was quote unquote only worth $17,998. And that's that. So, interestingly enough, we can really see some of the ways that Pokemon has appreciated an insane amount over the past year represented in this itself. The good news is that I have the memory of a goldfish, so I likely won't remember any of these numbers or most of the grades any of the cards got, which is a good thing because I do like to look through each of them sort of with a blind eye. I'll probably not do the whole guessing thing because it's obvious that I had to review each and every single card as soon as I got the grades, just so that I could create a video like this. But I did want to provide you all with some high-level numbers on exactly what craziness went on over the past year. Like, I know a lot of people say it and a lot of people, you know, point to like these crazy high eBay sales. You're gonna see some cards that are 5s and 6s and 7s and 8s, and you'd be surprised how much money can be generated, how much value sits within just a bunch of what most people would just have passed up as bulk cards back in the day. Again, another reason why I think a PSA submission like this one is truly one of the last of its kind, because more now than ever, people are beginning to realize exactly what I just said and those numbers that I just gave you, and they're beginning to realize one of two things. They would either grade the cards themselves and be able to say that for themselves, or they simply price their collections too high for people like myself to buy, submit, and get graded themselves. And at that point, it takes away from any sort of wiggle room that you might have when it comes to what you can do on the back end once these cards are graded. But with all that said, friends, thanks again for checking out another video. I hope you enjoyed today's video. It's a little bit of a different one, I admit, for a variety of reasons, but I thought it would be interesting to put those numbers out there and just give you a genuine, real-to-life comparison on how things go. Obviously, over the next few weeks, you should definitely start expecting PSA graded returns on the channel. Definitely make sure to hit that notification bell to stay up to date. Like the video today if you enjoy what you saw. And hey, you're already here, might as well hit that little subscribe button and join our happy little community. But other than that, friends, thank you again, as always, for your viewership. I appreciate you stopping by, and we will talk soon. Peace.